If you're a young guy in his 20s and you're looking to launch an online business or an online offer to start working for yourself, having that time and location freedom, and also that team that you love, that you've always dreamed about, I've been hosting a lot of interviews with people lately who are potential clients for my business, and the biggest thing they say is that the thing they lack is a proven roadmap to help them go from their point from their current state all the way to their dream state. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need a roadmap. You just need two things that I've seen multiple business owners use without having a roadmap that have gotten them to insane amounts of success. Who am I just to share a few wins? I run an online consulting business where I've helped people build, launch, and scale their online business. And we've hit crazy results. I've helped a client hit a 55K record month while we were working together. And I've seen the entire back end of how they went from zero all the way to that 55. And I feel like I've got a few bits of value to share with you. And the thing that I want to talk about today is that everybody is scared to basically make a move to work on their goals because they're scared of doing something and have that not generate any results or have that be the wrong decision to take and to waste time. First of all, that's completely normal. But the main thing that they say stops them from taking that leap or actually just pushing forward is to have a proven roadmap where if they put in certain inputs of action and decisions, they're going to get a desired output that are going to bring them closer towards their goals. You may be asking before I get into this is why am I filming this in my bedroom? It's because there is construction happening outside my usual office right now and it is fucking loud, so I don't want to put you guys through that. But I wanted to talk about a concept because there's two things that I've seen many of my clients and also my peers use when they had no mentor, no information, or no guidance to getting them where they wanted to be, which was usually a certain revenue level. Let's put that at an arbitrary 20K per month. And the things that they do when they don't have a proven roadmap or guidance from a mentor is to first use what I call first principles thinking, and second, to use what I call signal-based growth. So first principle thinking is a term that got really famous by Elon Musk, is that he operates his entire business and all of his products, even his spaceships and his rockets that take people to outer space and the moon, using first principles. Because most of the people will reason by a process called analogy, which is that they're going to make decisions based on what other people are doing. For example, they'll say something like, everybody's currently running ads and shooting LinkedIn content and they're going hard on TikTok videos to succeed. I should do the same thing. And the funny part about that is that most people actually reason with analogy, which means that everybody's just copying the reasoning of the person behind them, who copied it from the person behind them, who copied it from the person behind them. And you can start to see how that's not based on any real facts, logics, or information. It's just reasoning by analogy. On the other hand, reasoning by first principle is a process where you can come to data-backed decisions from nothing, from your own reasoning by working backwards from an end result all the way to the immediate action that you have to do now. So how does that work in practice? Okay, I've got a very important framework that I use every single morning that allows me to work off of first principles and ignore all of the noise. And every morning I wake up and I take my walk, I go write in my diary, and I ask myself, what is the biggest constraint in my business right now? And then I'll go ahead and I'll write down, I'll be very disciplined, I'll ignore all the noise, and I'll write down what is the biggest constraint in my business right now. Right now, I'm missing sales calls, all right? My goal is to hit a certain revenue level of 20K per month because that allows me to travel, it allows me to hire a good team, it allows me to live the life that I want. And my biggest constraint right now is to get more qualified sales calls. That's it. Not to shoot better content, not to get better marketing, not to build out modules for my program, not to build out automations. It is just to get qualified sales calls. Why? Because I look at the data and I look at what is the signal there that I need to work on, and I center myself on that one problem. This is so important because when you don't use processes like this, you always lose yourself in busy work where you think that you need to, for example, build a landing page, that you need to work on your content scripting system. And you're basically giving yourself all of these tasks and pretending that you're productive when in fact you are not solving the biggest constraint. Right? So first you want to center in on the biggest constraint, and then afterwards, the second question I ask myself every single day is, what actions can I take today to relieve that constraint? And I will go ahead and I'll put in 4 categories in acquisition, traffic, operations, and marketing. And depending on what my constraint is, I will write down all the actions I need to take on all of the departments to relieve that constraint. So for example, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to send out more DMs. I'm going to send out more network messages. I'm going to spend all my time and focus on generating leads from my DMs and ignore all of the rest, because all of the rest is not going to solve my biggest constraint. And that's what, if you do every single day, will compound and will help you move your business forward, because it's simple. If you don't have experience, if you've never started a business before, you can narrow everything down to one constraint and then focus on the actions towards doing that, and have confidence that the actions you're doing are making you 1% better or are taking you 1% closer towards your goals. The second thing that you want to be doing, and this is how you can remove all the noise, remove all the bullshit, and really move forward with confidence, is to use signal-based growth operating systems. So what does that mean? Signal-based growth is where you are trying to separate the signal from the noise. Steve Jobs was exceptionally good at this with Apple. He coined the term signal to noise, the signal to noise ratio, where there's going to be a certain ratio of your scope, your bandwidth, which is filled with noise, and another one that is filled with signal. Signal being the most important levers that you want to pull. And the signal is lost in all of the noise, and your goal is to separate it from the noise, and that you can focus only on that and have the rest outsourced or even discarded if you're working as a one-man team. And this is what I see work best with people who are working full-time jobs, who have a skill, they want to monetize it, but they just don't know how to. It is by focusing on the signal. Now, how do you do that? So in online business, the beauty of it being online is that your entire operations, all of your touch points, all of that is data. You want to be creating a data farming company. Not a consulting business, obviously that's what you're going to be doing, but you want to set up your company as something that is collecting data on all fronts. For example, one thing I track a lot is who hops on calls with me. What were their first interactions? What were their conversion points? I do all of that manually, but you can also automate that. You can also track what is happening in the sales calls that you're taking. You can use Fathom, download all the transcripts, and then put them into ChatGPT to find out the things that you did well, the things that you did wrong, new action items, and so forth. So you're using your data on all departments of your company to start building this framework of generating signal, so that whenever you look at the data that you created, and by the way, if you want more tips on how to track your data, just subscribe below. I'm going to shoot a lot more about that. And by generating and farming all of that data, you're going to be able to see the things that are working and the things that are not working. And obviously, what do you do with that information? You're going to discard the things that are not working or generating results, which in my case is sales, qualified sales calls, and you're going to keep the things that are generating qualified sales calls. Do you guys see how it works now? So, for example, one thing I'm going to do after my constraint is no longer qualified sales calls, and I'm getting a lot of them, my next constraint is going to be on closing those qualified sales calls. And the set of actions I'm going to be taking for that are going to be radically different. And I'm just going to be working step by step, constraint per constraint, and outlining all the actions I need to take in that given moment that is based on data. And all that is just me operating by myself without a roadmap from a mentor, without some guy on YouTube telling me that this is the next system they have to do, and just trusting myself and my decisions. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have confidence in yourself, why bother having confidence in anybody else? So that's it, guys. That's the video. That's a rant for today. You want to always focus on your current and biggest constraint, and you also want to focus on separating the signal from the noise and then doubling down on the signal. Peace out.